We're at the Pembroke Pines Charter High School, where today a law class, a high school law class, is going to do a mock Supreme Court and judge a case that was actually judged by the U.S. Supreme Court. These are the panel that is going to discuss the new Supreme Court case. Tell me what your case is.
Our case is Roper versus Simmons, and basically a 17-year-old named Christopher Simmons decided that he could murder an old woman named Shirley Kirk just because he could.
And that became a Supreme Court case, and you're gonna review it all over again. Mm-hmm. How long did you study for this?
We probably got our cases about 3 weeks ago, and we've been studying ever since.
Do you study together or separately? Do you study in teams?
Yes, we study in teams. It's the three of us and the three of them, and we get together after school and in class we work on it.
So it's quite a project.
Yes. If it may please the court, we are Kelly Andrews, Davin, Miret, and Maegan Trinidad, representing the petitioner Donald P. Roper. Thomas Jefferson, one of our founding fathers, once said, "Punishments I know are necessary, and I would provide them, strict and inflexible, but proportioned to the crime. Death might be inflicted for murder." Due to the circumstances, the only proportional punishment for Christopher Simmons' actions would be execution.
A jury takes multiple factors of the case into account when sentencing someone, including the defendant's age. This information helps them decide whether or not the death penalty is an appropriate punishment. As of now, only 22 minors have been executed since 1985, 2 from Missouri. And to go even further, only 2% of all executions between 1642 and 1986 were of offenders under the age of 18. This is a clear indication that the death penalty is only used for the worst offenders. The idea that no minor under the age of 18 has carried out a crime ruthless enough to deserve the death penalty is absurd. It should be left up to the states and jury themselves to determine the level of maturity a minor has based off the facts in the case.
Atkins versus Virginia should be held as irrelevant in this case. Yes, Daryl Atkins was convicted of abduction, armed robbery, and capital murder. However, Atkins was soon deemed to have a mild form of mental retardation. The question brought forth was whether or not the execution of a mentally retarded person was cruel and unusual, and the court affirmed with a 6-3 ruling that is indeed unconstitutional. However, to look at this case in order to set a standard and say both mentally retarded people and juveniles are equally culpable would be excessive. Simmons was more than capable of recognizing the consequences of his decision and clearly stating that he did it because he can.
How do we determine, I would say some adults are immature that are 60, 70 years old, but how do we determine the immaturity based on that criteria for this case? If he's 18 years old and the respondent said that it's based on immaturity and other things that they mentioned, what would you say about that and a level of immaturity up to 25?
I think that his ability to show no remorse adds to his level of maturity. I think that if at 17 years old you're able to, first of all, he admitted it in less than 2 hours, and then he agreed to do a video enactment of it. He didn't show any remorse. I think if at 17 years old you don't show any remorse, I don't think you're going to develop it by the time you're 25. I think that you already know that's wrong, and like you're not going to change your decision.
For this Supreme Court case, one of the justices is our very own Mayor Frank Ortis. And you love this, don't you?
I love it. I was here yesterday. I decided to come back. I didn't have enough. To see the setting that we're in now and to see the respondents and the petitioners actually study their cases and present is really, really intriguing.
And these are high school students.
High school students. Just intriguing. I mean, and the points they make are so valid and so passionate.
And so intelligent.
And so intelligent, and you can see that they really researched the cases,
and
which
this
is amazing.
Not your first year.
No, I've been doing this for a while. Mr. Quigley's, Supreme Court case classes are just great. I mean, this is just great. In fact, we're going to recognize the class at a city commission meeting in January, just to show the people through OCTV and what they can do. So we get a lot of young people get chastised for so many things, but look at what our high school students really do.
Yeah. So these are the people that make this class happen. William Quigley, tell me what you do.
I teach law here and AP Government at Pembroke Pines Charter High School. And I guess the thing you could say that I most do here is try to get my students involved in whatever I teach, to try and make my classroom more than just a place where we do notes and book and tests, but where
This is much more interesting.
yeah, I agree. And it really tests and really sees what these kids understand and know about the law.
And Carrie Hyacinth,
Correct.
you're his partner
I am.
in crime.
I am.
And tell me what you do.
I'm actually the social studies department chair here at the school, and I also teach geography honors to the 9th grade and then law studies as well.
Also law studies.
Yes.
So some of these are your students as well.
Yes. The respondents will be my students. Yep.
Good luck, guys. Not everybody can win, but somebody is gonna win.
They all
Well,
win.
I was going to say, ultimately, it's the students who win.
Absolutely.
No matter what the outcome.
Absolutely. Yes, they do. So thank you for what you do.
Well, thank you.
And thank you for what you do. And let's see what happens now.
Go team.
The question today, whether or not the execution of mentally ill minors constitute as a cruel and unusual punishment. We stand here before you today, providing that in the circumstance of Christopher Simmons, it is. At age 17, Christopher Simmons committed murder. He was arrested at his school the day after he killed Shirley Crook and was taken to the police station where he waived his Miranda rights and was interrogated. He initially denied involvement in the case, but nearly after 2 hours of interrogation, during which the police falsely stated that Benjamin, an accomplice in the murder, had confessed and explained that he might face the death penalty, and that would be in his interest to cooperate.
The Eighth Amendment states, excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. The Eighth Amendment has a requirement that capital punishment, like execution, must fit the offender's personal culpability. When the sentence is death, the punishment must not only suit the crime, but also the offender. The offender's mental capability must be taken into consideration. According to Dr. Smith, with the environment Simmons was raised in and the fact that his family had a history of psychiatric illness and substance abuse reported by his mother, Cheryl Hayes, Christopher was predisposed to developing a psychiatric illness. Schizotypal personality disorder, what he was diagnosed with, is known to cause people to have a need for social isolation, anxiety in social situations, odd behavior and thinking, and often unconventional beliefs.
Although the crime Christopher Simmons committed is inexcusable, execution is not a just punishment considering his circumstances. Ordering the execution of a mentally ill minor goes against the Eighth Amendment and is inconsistent with society's evolving standards of decency.
You guys keep making a big emphasis on the difference between a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old. For example, me, my birthday is April 14th. So let's say I kill someone April 10th, and I'm still 17. How much different am I going to be on April 14th, 4 days later when I'm 18 years old? Like, where do we draw that line of the difference between a 17-year-old mindset and an 18-year-old mindset? That's what I'm not understanding.
Well, in society, the universal age of being an adult is 18, and most 17 and 18-year-olds, although their prefrontal cortex is not fully developed, they know right from wrong. But because he had this disorder, it incapacitated him to be able to determine what was right and what was wrong, because it slowed down his thought processing, and especially because of the drugs too. He wasn't a normal 17-year-old.
For OCTV, I'm Elaine Kugelman, and thank you for joining me at the Charter High School and their edition of the Mock Supreme Court. Thanks, everyone.